I was researching the lovers from Commedia dell'Arte. Another name for the lovers is the Innamorati, which kind of translates to the two together from what I found. I don't know why, but it does. They were stock characters that appeared in 16th century Italy, so they're thought to be as some of the very first characters that appeared in Commedia dell'Arte. They're very central. Quite a bit revolves around them and their relationship, as they use other characters to kind of like send messages to one another and stuff like that. So they're in plays for the sole purpose of like being in love with each other, and despite many obstacles that they face, they most of the time end up getting married in the end, or having some sort of relationship in that way. They're usually children of either dottore or pantalone, and yeah, alright. So they have a very high social status, and because of that, they're also very wealthy, which is a bit why their character is like their character. So lovers, their costumes, for the woman, she wears a baggy dress, generally in shades of red or white, and for the man, he wears a hat kind of like this one, but with a much wider brim, and it's generally red, and he also wears a vest, a cape, and stockings, from what I saw. I'm going to talk about how they act now and how they move. So they're always very overdramatic and very like over the top with all of their emotions, and they're also very mature. They're very comparable to like a 5-year-old pretty much. So when they don't get what they want, they'll whine and scream and cry and throw a tantrum basically. But they are always completely sincere in every single one of their emotions. They never try to fake anything or place mistrust in anyone. When they're separated from their lover, they're in a state of like depression or lament, and they are generally very like quiet and don't know what to really do with their lives when they're not with their lover, and they're very like lost and stuff. So most of the time, the lovers, even when they're like next to each other, they don't know how to talk to one another because they're very immature and they're just too shy to, actually talk to each other. And so they'll be sitting there, and there will be brief glances between them. And so they'll try to use other characters as a sort of median or bridge to convey messages, which is why a lot of the play revolves around them and what they do. So, sorry, give me a second. So since they have a very high social status, they apparently have a very very high formal education despite being so immature. The lovers don't wear masks. Instead, they wear a very high amount of makeup, and they also wear very extravagant wigs. And yeah, sorry. So, wait. The way they move, they're very elegant, and they strive for perfection in everything they do. So they try not to mess up, and instead of really walking, it kind of seems like they float off the ground, kind of. And it's the same with their hand movements. Their gestures are generally very, gallant and perfect. So one of the main things about the lovers is that they care more about the idea of actually being in love than actually being in love with their lover. Sorry. So despite their love for the lover, they care more about actually like the idea of love and the idea of that. So I'll give a kind of demonstration, I guess. Do you know my lover, Angelica? Yes. I would like to send a message to her, please. Could you tell her that I love her very, very deeply? Would like to see her again sometime soon. Oh, that's not quite right. You won't do it. Oh, no, you need to do it! You need to do it, please! Please do it! Oh, what am I going to do? Yeah, that's...